I always thought I was pretty okay looking, but my mom thinks otherwise. She says I have a baby face. I do not. I just look young for my age. My mom always takes me with her when she goes out, even for the smallest of things. I don't mind since I usually get something in return, but I've noticed some weird things going on. I thought it was just that my mom was doting or wanting to show me off, but now I'm starting to suspect her. It started with her taking me to the store. My mom loved dressing me up, even if we didn't buy anything. Some of the store attendants or other women shopping would always stop her. I used to hear their voices. It was always the same stuff. Recently, the conversations have gotten longer. They would start with how cute I looked or the brand of clothing. Then, my mom would manage to drive the conversation somewhere else within seconds. It always ended the same, though, exchanging numbers or social media accounts. I figured my mom was just looking for friends or people to talk to. But this was almost every time we went out. Mom never mentioned the women she spoke to. She would just smile and carry on through the day. I never asked about them either. Why would I care? Boys my age usually wanted to get away from their moms for a bit anyways. I just played it cool until I was rewarded for my effort. I didn't mind as a child. I had other things to care about, like getting my ball back from the neighbor's yard. When I started middle school, I began to notice the subtle changes my mom made in these encounters. Mom never wore a lot of makeup, but always applied some when we went out. She always asked me about school or what I wanted to do, even if she already asked before. Oh, sorry. I must have forgotten, she giggled. Yeah, sure. It was the third time you asked, Mom. Our conversations always caught the eye of other moms or women passing by. I thought they were just being nice and congratulating me, but my mom would start talking to them like she knew them. It got worse when I joined the football team. My mom would come to the games dressed up and leave a lipstick mark on my face when she kissed my cheek. I was mortified, and my team teased me about it. I wanted to draw the line there, but my mom always made up with me by nighttime. She'd just bribe me with things I wanted and always caved for them. I knew something was up, but it was hard to see through the sea of gifts. We were pretty set in life when it came to money. Mom somehow always had a lot of money on her. I didn't know how much she made at her job anyways. She wasn't super frivolous, but sometimes I had to tell her to chill out on the gifts. It got weirder when she started getting phone calls and texts throughout the day. She always got one per hour, but I assumed she was chatting with friends or family. I didn't ever want to pry at my mom's phone, but one day she left it out on the table. I saw the screen light up and a name appeared. I never saw the name before and forgot about it quickly. I didn't want to know what older women talked about. Although, one day, Mom was talking on the phone in another room. I had to get something and pass. Oh, that sounds wonderful! I'm sure he'll like it, she said happily. I rolled my eyes. It must be another surprise she was planning for me. It's a date. See you then, she ended the call. I turned my head back to look at my mom. Date? My mom doesn't date. She always complains about it when I would ask her about it. My dad has been out of the picture for years. I thought she was just sad. But Mom never showed any interest in getting back out there. That is, until now. I became nervous. Was I even ready for a new father figure in my life? What if my mom had bad taste? What if she was being tricked or catfished? I knew she wouldn't tell me, so I pretended not to care. I went back to my room to review the information I had. My mom has been dressing up more, wearing more makeup, and is almost always on her phone. The realization began to set in, and I felt my stomach drop. My mom was seeing men again. A few days later, she mentioned having a friend over. Friend, right? I said to her. Oh, Joey, it won't be just old people. Kay's son Henry will be coming too, she reassured me. Kay? It must have been a nickname for someone. I could already imagine the scenarios in my head. Some jerk or thug would walk in and own the place. Or maybe some nerd or rich pompous guy. I had to be prepared for anything. Whatever, I'm not gonna babysit, I groaned. When it was dinner time, the doorbell rang. I hastily ran to open it. I wanted to see this guy for myself. But instead of some dude, it was a woman dressed in expensive clothing. I was startled, jumping back into my mom. I could see a boy behind the lady. He was on his phone. Oh, Rika, your house is lovely, Kay had squealed. You flatter me, Kay. I do my best with what I have, Mom had replied. I almost gagged at how they were talking to each other. Both moms walked into the kitchen, leaving me with Henry. He was wearing expensive clothing, but was dressed more casually. The logo on his shirt was one of the really expensive brands. I figured I should say something. Hi, I said. Henry grunted and walked past me. They were rich, all right. I shut the door behind me and went to the kitchen. Mom and Kay were still talking, easily engrossed in their own world. Henry still had his nose buried in his phone, too. This was going to be a boring dinner. When I was done eating, my mom suddenly remembered my existence. Oh, Joey, why don't you go play games with Henry up in your room? You don't want to hear women talk, my mom joked. I didn't want to bring Henry, but felt pressured to go along anyways. Okay, I sighed. Henry followed me as I stood up, somehow navigating through the house without looking up from his phone. We spent maybe 30 minutes in my room ignoring each other before I finally snapped. I don't want to be here. I left my room quietly and went downstairs. I was quiet, trying to sneak past my mom and Kay. I could slip outside and hang with one of my friends instead. But as I was passing the living room, I couldn't help but peek inside. It was so quiet. I was naturally curious. My eyes nearly flew out of my head at what I was seeing. Mom was kissing Kay! I had to throw myself back onto the stairs to keep myself from yelling out loud. It wasn't the fact my mom was kissing another woman that shocked me. It was that I hadn't expected it. I never thought my mom swung that way, but I still loved her even so. I prepared myself to go out there once they'd stopped. I can lie about being hungry, but then I heard yelling from inside the living room. Delete the pictures, please! My husband would leave me! Kay begged my mom. But my mom shook her head, smiling at her phone. Send me the money regularly, and I'll make sure your husband never finds out, she smirked. I couldn't believe this. My mom was blackmailing Kay? Now that I thought about it, the friends she went to see or that came over left quickly each time. Mom never spoke of them again and said they were busy when I asked her about them. Just like clockwork. Kay did something on her phone and then ran past me to get Henry. She dragged him out and left before my mom even saw me. I was shocked. Oh, hey, Joey. What are you doing here? Mom asked. Are you blackmailing rich women? I blurted out. Why not? Easy money. Mom shrugged. Then, you were using me, I continued. Mom grinned, pinching my cheek. I always gave you a cut, Joey. I couldn't do it without my special baby boy, she cooed. While I felt used, I couldn't deny my mother's work. Everything we had amounted to her clever scheme. With that being said, I have some ideas for your act, Mom.